A 1, 2, 3, 4.
Personal experience. So then I go first. But we've got to wait for it's only 10 to now.
We need all our presenters, maybe.
Yeah. Do you know who they are? Did they have to say? Because we've got Josh and him.
Yeah, James and Josh are already here. It's only like 3 slides.
Yes.
And it's 3
But
times
how many
5.
presentations?
Wow, there's 3 presentations.
Three.
So
Oh, okay.
it's literally going to take 15 minutes and then...
Yeah, no, I know. They've been given 5, but we've got 30 minutes for this, so yeah, we're good then.
Oh, we're good.
Okay. So where's the third?
Let's keep it in
Where's the third person?
Number 3.
Eh?
Huh?
The third presenter. But we also need audience for them.
Well, we are 2.
Yeah, 2. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, 3.
Yeah.
3.
Yeah.
Cool, that would be a crowd.
Fuck yeah. Three's a crowd. Yeah, exactly. That's what they say. And all you need is, what do they say? All you need is what, like top 3 Gs. You just need 3 people in your life and you know they're going to be.
You just need Max Kaiser.
Are you one of the presenters?
No.
Lightning setup, right?
It's a picture. Yeah, it's a multi-blend. Yeah.
Now we're running out of spice.
Yes, now we go. That's Thomas. That's Oliver. They're brothers. They literally just decided this week. I think we can give them a round of applause. Yeah, let's give them a round of applause. All the way from fuck yeah. Are we live yet? Are we not going live?
2 minutes, yeah. 1 minute.
Okay.
Just 2 buttons, right?
Wait for another 1 minute maybe for other people.
Where's the sensor for the... Over there. Okay, so just point to him.
I went back. Oh, there it is.
good? Okay. Thanks, guys, for coming. I'm actually wanted to introduce Max because this is his stage for today. I don't think I would be here if Max isn't part of the way he organizes Cape Town meetups, and I ended up going to a Cape Town meetup at one point, which he's in charge of, and that's how my road took me eventually to come here. Max is also the guy that's pretty much behind a lot of the organizing of this conference, and yeah, he's just a quiet G that makes sure stuff is done. So I'd like to give a round of applause to him. And he's gonna do the introductions for the pitch and kucha short presentations that we're gonna see now.
Thank you, Elmo. Thank you for the introduction. Morning, everyone. As you know, I'm Max, the organizer of Adopting Bitcoin Cape Town. This talk is really introduced or sought up from Karel van Beek. He thought, like, what if we have a space where people can, whoever's working in Bitcoin, any sort of project or community, etc., have a space to share what they're working on to the public, to the world, and in a very short format, so it doesn't take too long. And he thought about this Pecha Kucha style presentation, which is essentially you get 5 slides and a minute each slide to just explain what they're doing, and for a quick Q&A session afterwards. So any conference attendee is allowed to apply and to present, as long as it's Bitcoin only. And yeah, so we have first up is Josh from Botswana and Ola Bitcoin. Please welcome Josh.
So do I start right away? Okay. Bam. Okay, I'm Josh Vasquez from Ola Bitcoin, right next door in Botswana. I'm one of 2 Mexicans in Botswana. I don't know of anybody else. And this is my wife in the back. She likes to be in the background. She's like Max. She doesn't like to be, seen that much, or she doesn't like the spotlight. But that's Kia, my wife. And yeah, if you want to learn more, 5 minutes is not going to, of course, do the project justice. So please go to olabitcoin.org to learn more about us. Pretty much all the slides are straight from the website. So I just want to focus on proof of work for 2025, right? We've been around since 2023, but this is just 2025 proof of work. We completed the 5th Trezor Academy in 2025. We also helped launch the first one in Zimbabwe with Langa. We were on the radio. Gabs FM called me out of the blue. You know, when Trump started talking about it, it did give Bitcoin exposure. So all of a sudden, they were like, well, who's doing Bitcoin in Botswana? They found me and they're like, can you come talk to us about Bitcoin? So I had about 9 weeks straight, prime time, like around noon, to just orange pill the whole nation, so it was pretty fun time. I had never been on radio before, but it was just like such a fun time. The host Swift was just like so cool. I orange pilled him. He was all in. He was like, let's do this. So I used a little bit of Bitcoin diploma curriculum as well as Trezor Academy to fill in the space. We also had guests come in. It was really, really, really good time. I also spoke at a church, Royal Assembly. They had like a seminar, a business summit or something. And I just, I always emphasize the importance of self-custody. Like that's one of the mandates of Ola Bitcoin, and that's why, hence the shirts that you saw me wearing yesterday, nacho keys, nacho cheese. I'll give you guys a little bit of some stickers after this. moving on. I support a lot of other, what do you call it, Bitcoin projects across the whole continent, right? From Nigeria to Kenya, wherever it is. If they're doing something, I haven't run a Bitcoin diploma myself because I don't feel like the appetite is there in Botswana, but I'll support another one and I'll take a chapter or two and do that. We also have a WhatsApp group of about 200 people, which may not sound like a lot, but he lived in Namibia. Botswana is also very sparsely populated, so 200 people is actually something. Also spoke at Miss Epic, a beauty contest. Tough job, but somebody's got to do it, right? Had them download all the wallets, and we bought some bit refill, stuff like that. I also focused a lot in 2025 on remittances, especially between Botswana and Zim. So just because there's no exchange in Botswana, there's no Bitcoin exchange in Zim either. We used to have Yellow Card. Yellow Card closed their doors to retail for some reason. So you have to find kind of the back ways, and it's fun for me, to find out how to do it, how to buy, how to sell, all that stuff. It's not going to the next one, but it's pretty much just, the last one is my Blink wallet. So Ola Bitcoin, very easy to remember, right? OLA Bitcoin. Okay, OLA Bitcoin at Blink. So, if you guys want to donate, please do, and I'll give you guys a little sticker that has the QR code. No, he just shined a light on Bitcoin. He just started mentioning it a lot. He attended conferences and all of that. So then other nations, they pay attention. He does move the markets, and he moves the attention. He's very, very good at moving attention, actually. So he just went, bam, Bitcoin, and everybody's what is he doing? What does he know? So, the host even was asking me really tough questions because I'm not a national, I'm not a citizen. And he's like, well, what would you say to the Minister of Finance? And humbly, I would say, look at El Salvador and, it's working, So yeah, I'm always a little bit I'm pushing the envelope, but I don't want to get kicked out of the country also.
Any other questions?
You got it?
Josh, thanks for that. I wanted to ask about the diploma. Once the appetite is there, do you plan on releasing a diploma from you guys?
Yeah, most definitely. Most definitely, yeah. I've been talking to Arnold, I think his name is, the guy in El Salvador. And he wants me to be a node or something like that for that. So definitely. And the thing is, it's online. So, I'm on other WhatsApp groups, in Kenya and stuff, Bitcoin related. So I can always, it doesn't matter if you're doing a Bitcoin diploma, if you're putting it on Google Meets, That's why I've just been kind of supporting other ones, because then I push it on my group and I tell them, hey, this is free education. And sometimes they need to hear it from other people, too, not just me all the time. So I'm look at Malik at citrus rate, and if you don't want to listen to me, listen to this guy, Maybe he explains it a little bit different and things like that. So I also because of that, I haven't found the need, because it's all online. I'm gonna do it online myself. I'm probably not gonna do it in person because it takes more money to do that, and I'm self-funded. So.
One last question.
you've got, I mean, all these different education initiatives, fantastic. How do you assess beyond that, like the practical, are people adopting it? Like, is there a practical way that you assess the impact of your education?
It's really just like hearing people like all of a sudden say they bought a Trezor wallet out of the blue. You know, they're just like, can you help me set up my Trezor wallet? You know, and things like that. You know, of course, I'm like, never ever show me your words. Do not like, and that's emphasized a lot. But like, when you see somebody now by themselves buy a Trezor wallet, then they probably saved a decent amount, because I do teach them, like, you know, if it's less than like $100, you probably don't want to buy a Trezor wallet, right? You can use Aqua in self-custody. So so it's that, and just getting more calls, like out of the blue, like the Miss Epic one, I had nothing to do with them, and they just like called me all of a sudden. They're like, can you come and teach the ladies about Bitcoin, you know? And I'm like, sure. Yeah, that was tough, very tough.
So next up, we've got James to come and present on Simple B.
Cool, thank you. And there's the countdown timer. Cool. Oh, which button do I press? Oh, arrow. Yeah. Right. Okay, thank you. Hi guys, thanks for coming today, and yeah, I'm here to introduce Simple Bitcoin to you. We're one of those other guys. We're the regulated financial rails into Bitcoin. I've been helping people to understand Bitcoin across a coffee table since about 2016. Helped 1,000 people to buy their first Bitcoin and put it into self-custody. Self-custody is the only way to hold Bitcoin, and I'm quite passionate about ensuring that people move off exchanges and into self-custodial Bitcoin. So Simple B allows people to do procurement and then security strategy around how to hold your Bitcoin safely, not just for you, but what happens when you die, what happens if you're holding Bitcoin in a company. And so, you know, our goal is really to build education around Bitcoin. And so to that end, I've done quite a lot of teaching, training, and getting people started in Bitcoin throughout the years. Rule number one for my clients is self-custody. So a lot of the work I do, the clients I work with, they grow education and knowledge on how to do this. If you are trying to do self-custody and you're putting in 1,000 Rand, it doesn't make sense to buy a Trezor. Rather spend 3,000 Rand on more Bitcoin. So, you know, we have a guide document that goes from how to open a Blockstream Green wallet. That's been downloaded about 2,500 times over the years and distributed freely. And then all the way up to the multi-signature vault, which is Simple's main product for institutional grade custody. So we implement exactly the same strategy that the guys in the UK have used to build the first pension funds structures. So in the UK, there's a pension fund that's allocated 5% to Bitcoin, and they use exactly the same structure that we use at Simple. So it's internationally best practice, and I think the main focus is that it's native to Bitcoin. You're not reliant on one party or one company to keep operating and keep delivering when you use the Simple model. It's simple, native to Bitcoin, and very important. In order to get this going and working in South Africa, what we've built is the easiest way to dollar cost average into Bitcoin or Rand cost average into Bitcoin. Our clients do an EFT to our partner exchanges. As soon as the funds settle, we buy Bitcoin. So if you're on a Friday afternoon, you see a nice dip in the price, you do an instant EFT, you'll have Bitcoin within 15 minutes. This is much better because it takes away a lot of the confusion that exchanges introduce. They are terrible shitcoin casinos, as we call them, and a lot of people end up buying Bitcoin Cash because it's cheaper. Sorry for the bad language, and other tokens, you know, and so we want to make sure that people get Bitcoin when they want to get Bitcoin. So you do an EFT, we buy the Bitcoin, and we transfer it to your self-custody automatically. It's actually a thing of beauty to see it working, and we're seeing people really starting to use this to start saving in Bitcoin, and that's, you know, what I'm really passionate about. the main focus is that Bitcoin is for everyone. Doing 1,000 customers at 1,000 Rand a month doesn't really make financial sense. But I'm working with listed entities, with big companies, corporate treasuries, and helping them to legally and compliantly set up a Bitcoin custody, self-custody solution that's managed with simple Bitcoin. The earlier slide showed that I hold one key and my clients hold two keys in a multi-signature vault, and that allows me to have oversight and as a regulated entity to see what they're doing, to be reportable, but not to have any control. And so the client has full ownership of his Bitcoin, always. And then we work with companies on how to structure that in their company to make sure they don't ever lose their Bitcoin. My goal is that you get Bitcoin and you never lose it. And a lot of what I do is education and training. Yeah, we've been growing. It's been a phenomenal 14 months since we launched and signed our first client. Obviously, I've been doing it since 2016, but as a regulated entity, we started fresh. And yeah, we're busy raising capital. We're looking to actually improve our onboarding experience, and I'm here looking and connecting with devs to look at how to build the next phase and reach and orange pull the next 100,000 people. And yeah, we're really expanding our services to grow Bitcoin and Bitcoin adoption in South Africa. You'll see me at all the conferences. You'll see me around. I've written a book, The Strategic Reserve, and my last slide is also not working. There it is. A little bit of proof of work. I've written about 40 articles that are on my own website. I do media interviews. The goal is really to get the word of Bitcoin out there and get people understanding what it is and how it can actually impact their lives. It's the savings tool that can really impact Africa. Thank you.
Cool, thanks very much, James. Do we have any questions for James? Let me be the runner here. We just want questions to come on the mic so the live feed can hear you as well.
I'm curious on the DCA slide, how you're handling, or maybe your clients are DCAing at sizes, but the UTXO management, so they're not putting 100 Rand UTXOs into a Trezor. Like, how are you handling that?
Great question. And yeah, so for our DCAs, what we're doing with clients who are doing less than 10 grand at a time, we consolidate until we have 10,000 Rand as a withdrawal amount, and then we send that over. So that's part of why we need to build, because we need to get into Lightning so that we're not holding those funds for, that can be a couple of months while we wait for guys who are saving. I don't have thousands of customers at that level at this stage. Yeah, because although we have the custodial structure, we don't want to use it. And then we also have a few clients who are slow to learn about how to actually set up that wallet. But it takes going to their house and sitting with them and ensuring that they do it properly. But that's education, and that's the nature of this game at the moment, where we're trying to break through and get people to start understanding it. If it was easy, look, they wouldn't need us. Our goal is to make it simple.
Proof of work. Any other questions? I've got one more question. Also, with regards to the DCA, you mentioned your exchange partners. Are you allowed to mention where you're buying Bitcoin from, what exchanges?
Yeah, certainly. So we actually partnered with Vala and Luno locally in South Africa. Obviously, they have the most liquidity, and most of our clients end up working on Vala. So we're using them at this stage. The goal is to build a Bitcoin-only exchange and to step away from these shitcoin casinos. But getting off the ground has been phenomenal. And as I said earlier, we're kind of profitable. We're trying to see how we can really take Bitcoin and eliminate all the risk. We don't need those other things. Bitcoin is the technology of the future. So thanks.
Any more questions? Okay, we got one more over here. I think let's make it the last question.
I'm just curious what the regulators wanted to see in terms of, like, obviously you're not walking around as the single key holder for the company with your Trezor in your back pocket. What did they want to see in terms of security from a regulated perspective?
Yeah, actually, the role of holding one key in a multi-sig vault is an administrative service, not a financial service. based on our understanding of the law. So they didn't really dig down into our model except in our documentation that we presented how everything does work. They didn't have a problem with that. So, that's quite important. Obviously, that all needs to be tested in a court of law before laws really come into force and effect. But yeah, the goal is really just to deliver the service and keep our clients' funds safe. And if we can do that successfully, the sky's the limit. Yeah. Cool.
So just for interest's sake, because it is my space, I just wanted to explain to you in terms of what the regulator's actually done here. They've pretty much done a blanket to try and get entities into regulation. It's like stage 1, and it's taken them about 2 years. It's literally just whatever you're doing, if it's crypto related, if it's Bitcoin related, it's a blanket. They call them CASPs, crypto asset service providers. And your exchanges like Luna, Valor that he mentioned, companies doing what he's doing, companies doing any kind of crypto related as they see it, they've widened the net both on the financial surveillance side, which is one regulator, the Financial Intelligence Center, and the other being the Financial Conduct Authority, the FSCA or FISCA. And both of those have just kind of blanket said, everyone doing something in this space is coming in. And the next stage will probably be digging in a little bit deeper to people doing different types of things and where different types of risks may lie. So yeah, at the moment it's blanket. There was a kind of a grandfathering in at the end of November 2023, and there's people that have applied at that point that still don't have their licenses issued. I think they kind of wanted to go for the big exchanges like Luna and understand how things are working at that level, and then are going to start digging down in terms of what everyone is doing. But it's seen as a financial product, and the blanket is quite wide at this point, just for interest's sake.
Cool. Thank you.
Guys, I don't think we've got any other speakers for this, so we're going to close this stage for now, this pitch and kucha style presentation. For those of you attending and just attendees, just remember this is probably going to be something that you could do. So if you want to pitch your project at some point as an attendee, my understanding of the idea is that you'd be able to do that. So for those attendees, take note for next time. You may be able to present something quickly at this style presentation. Do you want to do one? Were you down for doing one? Okay, cool. There we go. Okay, sorry. A quick one. You're going to, Bitcoin fitness. Come present. Have you got your presentation? No, are you just going to talk quickly? Okay, cool.
Okay, I'm Blaise Peter by name. I'm from Nigeria originally. So we started Bit Fitness just to give people Bitcoin education, sports and fitness. We encourage people to actually do their consistent workout 21 days with our 21 days challenge, and then host football tournaments for people that enjoy playing football, everything sport related. But currently now, because I play football also, so that's why we are playing football tournaments, and then whoever wins the tournaments get rewards in sats. That's after the tournament. And also our 21 days challenge, also whoever stays consistent with the 21 days challenge gets to earn sats also. And then also we want to make sure that there are places where people can actually go and spend these sats within our circular economy, because we are trying to build a circular economy in the sense that people are earning from their fitness and then earning also for enjoying to play football. But also we really want to make it sustainable in the sense that, okay, people that are actually earning are also looking for ways that they can actually prioritize their passion in whichever way, if it's sports, fitness. So that's why we really want to make sure that we have places where we can spend, like farmers, proper farmers, supermarkets, and then also encourage people also, whichever way, if it's fitness, sports, you find ways, we educate them on ways that they can use Bitcoin, earn Bitcoin from all over the world and from the things that they're passionate about, but mainly in sports and fitness. So yes, that's what we do at Bit Fitness. basically. So I don't know if anyone has any question or anything that they would like to encourage us with. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Thanks. Thanks.
Fitness in here.
I'm just curious, where are you getting the sats to reward these people? Are you self-funding it, or do you have money coming in, or are you charging for tickets to the events, or where do the sats come from?
So currently now the sats that we are circulating are the ones that our own sat and the ones that we got from support, because we are also in the Bitcoin Federation community also. So we really do get support. So those are the sats we are using right now to actually encourage other people to know that they can actually earn sats from staying fit and playing football also. You know, it's just that right now we are just trying to spark that curiosity for people to earn it from actually playing the competitions. You know, it's really not hard. It's really not easy to play football, and you know. So when they earn the sats, we also show them how they are going to spend the sat also. But what we are trying to do, we want to make sure that we are keeping the sats in our community, because what they are just using to spend right now is Pick and Pay, Zappa, and what's it called, Bootlegger. Those are the places that we've shown them, okay, yeah, these are places where you can spend this out, because it's just to make them know that, okay, this is actually money. You know, it's not just something that's flying on the internet. You can actually use this as your day-to-day savings and spending too also. You know, it's what that basically does is just to make them practically use it, you know, from earning it, because right now they are not buying it. So we are the ones just trying to circulate it to their community for them to, you know, also have that deep curiosity to want to know more. You know, to know that it's not just all about spending, you can actually store your value here also. So yes, that's what we are trying to build, and we are still in the process intensively. So yeah, is there any other question, please? We want those questions so that we know how to navigate this new year.
I think it's a great way to spread the message.
Yeah. Man, thank you very much. Thanks, man. Thanks, man.
Awesome. Thanks, Blaze. Give him a round of applause. Okay, I think that pretty much concludes this stage, and we've got lunch break now. Just relax, my friend. We've got lunch break now. I think we're going to be back here at 1:10 with Cole Tuckett's world famous self-custodial wallet workshop. You might have still 5 minutes to catch something on the last stage, and then break at 12:20. Over to Almo.
No, don't worry about it. You said everything. Enjoy lunch or the rest of the other presentation.
What did I miss? I didn't see this one on here. What was he talking about?
No, it was just like pitching
here we go,
pitches. Is this going?
just had lunch. So after you've got 45 minutes. After that, we've got at 5 to 2 the Vexel workshop. Yeah, we're just waiting for the live feed. Martin, please have a seat, brother. You're making me nervous. We're going to start soon. We're just waiting for live. Cool. Welcome back, guys. Hope you had a lekker lunch. You guys are in for a treat at the Btrust stage. At the moment, we've got Cole Tuckett doing his self-custody workshop. Every year, it's normally a sellout. We normally have people can't fit into the room. It's a bit more quieter this year, but hopefully we got 1 or 2 more guys coming in. He's also got an awesome YouTube channel that you need to check out, The Southern Bitcoiner. I'm sure he'll mention it somewhere in his talk. But he's got awesome videos on self-custody, tutorials about all kinds of things Bitcoin. So yeah, I'm not going to take up too much time. I'm going to hand over to Cole Tuckett. Please put your hands together. Give him a warm welcome.
Thank you. All right, so today we're talking Bitcoin self-custody, securing your digital wealth. So this, like Tyron mentioned, this is my 3rd year doing this exact same talk. I run the Southern Bitcoiner on YouTube with roughly 500,000 views. And what I do is I work with people one-on-one to build their self-custody setups. And we've helped secure millions of dollars worth of Bitcoin to date. I don't know exactly how many that is because we're private by default. Okay, so in this workshop, we start from the beginning. This is for complete beginners. So we start with the fundamentals of self-custody so that you can understand the core concepts first. You need to understand the technology underneath the wallet you use before you secure any large sums of Bitcoin. So once we understand the basics, we're going to set up a real Bitcoin and walk through a Bitcoin wallet and walk through backup and recovery. So I'm going to need at least one of you to set up a wallet with me. I'm going to send you Bitcoin, and then I'm going to teach you I'm going to show you how I'll steal it from you using the seed phrase. So these setups are for learning. Today we're just learning. This isn't long-term storage. You should not use this wallet, but you need to replicate this process yourself later at home with your own funds. So like I said, we start with the basics, and the first question is, what actually is Bitcoin? And the answer is Bitcoin is digital money. It's secured by a decentralized network of computers. These are the Bitcoin nodes. These nodes maintain a blockchain, which is a ledger that tracks every transaction. So a blockchain exists online, and it tracks who owns what Bitcoin. That's basically what Bitcoin is. What is a Bitcoin wallet? So you have to secure something that's completely digital. Bitcoin doesn't exist in the real world. It's digital. And unlike a physical wallet, a Bitcoin wallet doesn't actually store Bitcoin. You can't store Bitcoin. Instead, you store special keys that allow you to spend your Bitcoin. So that's a very important thing to understand. These keys that you have allow you to receive and send Bitcoin. So this is a high-level look at this. So your coins exist on the ledger, on the blockchain. Your keys let you spend those coins, and your wallet is simply a tool that stores those keys. And yeah, Bitcoin wallet is not a very accurate term because wallets typically store physical things, coins and cash, but Bitcoin wallets store keys. All right, so here's a look at what some of these keys look like. They look really long, technical, and complicated. These are some private keys. These allow you to spend your Bitcoin, and these are public keys that let you receive Bitcoin. Luckily, we don't have to use these long keys anymore. Bitcoin's become much easier in the modern day, and that is thanks to seed phrases. So you may have heard the term BIP39 seed phrases. This is a standard we use to create words that make backing up your Bitcoin wallet a lot easier. And here's a bit more information. So this is a 12-word seed phrase from Blue Wallet, and there's a 24-word from Sparrow. And these are simply human readable backups created by your wallet during the setup of your wallet. These words derive all the individual keys that your wallet needs. So if I go back a slide, back 2 slides, your seed phrase generates all of these keys for you without you even realizing it. It's happening behind the scenes. And that's what makes modern Bitcoin wallets so easy to use. If you restore the same seed phrase into a different Bitcoin wallet, you'll see the same Bitcoin because it's deriving the same keys. Like I said earlier, the keys are what access your Bitcoin. The Bitcoin wallet is simply a tool you use to store those keys. So there we go. We can see as well the seed phrase derives all the keys you need. And as long as you have your seed phrase, you have your Bitcoin. So you may have seen people backing up seed phrases in things like metal, and that is why, because the seed phrase is what needs to be built to last the long term. So next, what is self-custody? Every single Bitcoin is in some sort of wallet. So every Bitcoin is in a wallet or belongs to a set of keys, and this is either your wallet or it's somebody else's. When you hold coins with someone like Luno or Valor, these are exchanges, they are holding the keys that access your Bitcoin, and therefore it's custodial. These are most commonly exchanges. Next, we have non-custodial. So this is when you hold your own keys. When you set up a wallet like Sparrow or Blue Wallet, or here's Blockstream Green, you generate your own seed phrase, therefore you're taking self-custody. And of course, at the bottom, self-custody means that you control the keys of your wallet, and you are the true owner of that wallet. If you have Bitcoin inside of Luno or Valor, it's not yours, it's theirs. They just promise that if you withdraw, they'll give it to you, but history is full of breaches of that trust. Okay, so to take true self-custody, first you need to set up a wallet. So we're going to run through that a bit later. We'll set up Blue, we'll take a look at Sparrow, and here's just Blockstream Green, which I used in previous examples last year. And what you need to do is open your Valor or your Lunar account and actually withdraw from those accounts to your new wallet once it's set up and ready to go. And now we'll talk a bit about why self-custody is important. Firstly, for freedom. Satoshi gave us this technology for a reason, and that is to take true ownership of your wealth. Bitcoin's censorship resistant, it's freedom money, and trusting third parties with your Bitcoin defeats that trust, well, defeats that purpose completely. So Satoshi gave us this tech to hold your money. If you're just holding it with Luno or Valor, what's the point? There's no point. Secondly, you're eliminating counterparty risk. So when you have your coins on an exchange, you're also trusting them to store them securely. And of course, we all know if you've been in Bitcoin for a while, that always goes wrong. It seemingly always goes wrong. And I've got a few examples here. So history, let me actually point out Satoshi's quote here. He says, the root problem with conventional currency is that all the trust that's required to make it work. The central bank must be trusted not to debase the currency, but the history of fiat currency is full of breaches of that trust. And breaches of trust is a very common theme in self-custody. History is full of breaches of that trust. We have FTX. I'm sure who knows FTX? Yeah. So they lost $8 billion in customer funds. And at that point, they were the third largest exchange in the world. They collapsed in 2022 because of just complete mismanagement of customer funds. So you trusted them to have your Bitcoin. You know, you opened FTX, you saw, here I've got 50,000 Rand worth of Bitcoin, but it didn't actually exist. It was just numbers on a screen. And here we have two more examples. We had Celsius, which allows you to earn yield. That's funny, because someone else is promising yield these days. And Quadriga was one of Canada's largest crypto exchanges, and the CEO just died one day, mysteriously, and vanished. $250 million worth of Bitcoin gone. Okay, so now we'll look at actually setting up a Bitcoin wallet, and I'm a firm believer the best way to master self-custody is to practice. And to do that, you set up wallets, and you practice with small amounts. You take 200 Rand, whatever it might be, and move it around. And if you lose a small amount, that's not nice, but at least it's a small amount. So that's what I highly recommend you do. You practice with something small. And we'll go ahead now. We're going to set up a blue wallet, and we'll back up and restore that wallet. So if you want to follow along, please download Blue Wallet on the App Store. I'll need at least one of you to do this, so I can send you some Bitcoin. And we're going to look at recovering that wallet into a different wallet as well. So I'll go to the next slide here. And there we go, Blue Wallet. So who's going to download Blue? Do any of you have Blue already? Okay. So we have at least one person, right? Yeah. Okay, sweet. I'll give you 2 minutes, so anyone who wants Blue downloaded, we'll have 2 minutes to do that. There we go. Perfect. Okay. All right, I see a lot of Blue wallets. That's good. All right, so let's move on from here. We're going to quickly set up Blue Wallet. So all of you who have it downloaded can now follow these steps. We're going to create your first seed phrase, and we'll take a look at some Bitcoin addresses, how to receive, how to send, and so on and so on. So, yeah, sure. Sure, yeah. Ready. Okay, does anyone else is still downloading Blue? So we're all good. Okay. So once you're in Blue Wallet, you should see this screen here. It says add a wallet. So you'll just click on add now, and then make sure you're selecting Bitcoin. This screen might look different today, but just make sure Bitcoin's selected, put a name on the wallet, and you click on create. Very easy. Give it a name, of course, create, and then we should be in business. Good. Okay. Now, you should see a seed phrase on your screen. This is exactly what we've been talking about. This seed phrase derives all the other private and public keys your wallet needs to send and receive Bitcoin. This is the most important part of your Bitcoin wallet. You need to write this down, you need to keep it somewhere safe, and you need to keep it somewhere private. The reason we only do demonstration now when I say don't use this wallet at home is because you're in a public place right now. You could write down the seed, someone could be looking over your shoulder, and later your Bitcoin's gone because they have your seed. Okay. I don't know, there might be Bitcoin on there, I'm not sure. If you load that seed into your side, yeah. I see, yeah. Yeah, well, if you have multiple locations across the world to store Bitcoin, you'd rather use something like multi-sig, where you have multiple seed phrases, different seed phrases to access the same Bitcoin. But to answer your question, it's mostly up to you. You need to store your seed phrase somewhere where nobody else can access it. It's very important. So I think maybe 2 or 3 copies. Make sure if it's a lot of Bitcoin, at least one of them is metal, so that the environment can't degrade that. And if you've got one in metal, maybe 2 or 3 copies in different locations. Make sure they're private and hidden, of course, yeah. What's that? In the same country? What do you mean, like? Oh yeah, yeah, you can do that. Again, if you have multiple locations to store Bitcoin and you've got a lot of Bitcoin, you might consider using something like multi-signature. Okay. Yeah. 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 And to add to that, I mean, you can store $1 billion in 12 words with Bitcoin. So this is easy to just hide in your garden or in a sock drawer or something like that. But if you've got $1 billion worth of gold or silver, you can't hide that. You know, you're gonna be digging for a long time. So that's what's great about Bitcoin. And yeah, Ricky, you're right. You can, with a metal seed plate, you can easily store 12 words, and it's very compact. You can store $1 billion worth of Bitcoin in something, you know, this big. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. So you buy a seed plate, and it comes with nothing on it. You punch in your own seed words, either with a hammer or you punch in particular columns that have the rows numbered. Okay, so for everyone setting up Blue, have we all got a seed phrase now? And hopefully you've written it down, or you shouldn't take a screenshot, but for this demonstration, maybe you can. I'll allow it, but at home you shouldn't. Okay, so I'll assume we're all there. Doesn't it? Okay. We'll write it down then. Some wallets will require that you re-enter the seed phrase to ensure you've written it down correctly. Blue Wallet doesn't have that requirement, so you should be able to just next screen. Now, Blue Wallet is set up and it's fully functional. You can start to receive and send Bitcoin, and that's how easy it is to set up a Bitcoin wallet. Some of you, well, many people new to self-custody might think, I need to do my address, my ID, because they're so used to the banking system. Maybe they signed up to an exchange like Luna or Vala. Bitcoin is just math. All you need to do is derive a seed phrase or a secret phrase, and you now have a fully functioning wallet. At this point, Blue Wallet is storing a copy of your seed phrase, and that seed derives all the keys you need. And these keys are what Hello. Yeah, so click on the blue space here on 0 BTC. And at the bottom, you can click on receive. At this point, you'll see your Bitcoin address. So here it gives you your Bitcoin address in text format. So you can click on that to copy it, or it's got the QR code. And Bitcoin sent to this address is yours because you are the owner of that seed phrase. This Bitcoin's not going to belong to Luno or Vala or some sort of a custodial party. So whoever's with me, show me a Bitcoin address and I'll send someone some Bitcoin. I see. That's the first screen I see, so you win. Actually, can you come over here? Let's do this. So yeah, I've got Sparrow Wallet over here. I'm going to oopsie. Yeah, there's no seed phrases on here. Let me just send it from my phone. Do you have your seed phrase written down? Okay. All right, so you have some Bitcoin over there. Hopefully, are you on the Wi-Fi? Okay. That will show up in a second. Got it. Okay, if you can just show everyone, he's got some Bitcoin there. So he showed me his address. The address was used to receive coins, and that can be made public. So you share that Bitcoin address with anyone who's sending you Bitcoin. It's kind of like your email address. You just share it with anyone. Every time you receive Bitcoin, you'll go into Blue Wallet, and it will give you a brand new, fresh Bitcoin address. It's always best to use a new address each time. Earlier, we saw the seed phrase, just to remind you, that is used to send coins indirectly, and that must be kept private. And you can use this seed in most Bitcoin wallets to access that Bitcoin. I've already gone on a lot about this, but the seed phrase is very important. If your wallet disappears tomorrow, so if Blue Wallet is gone tomorrow, he can use that seed phrase he's written down to access the coins using a different software. So he might download Sparrow Wallet and import that same seed to Sparrow, and he can still access the Bitcoin. So Blue Wallet is only a tool that uses the seed to spend the coins. And yeah, you need to keep it as secure as possible, like we were speaking earlier. Put it in metal, put it in your garden, something like that. And anyone else with your seed can spend your coins. And we're going to demonstrate that today, so I'm going to steal that Bitcoin from you, unfortunately. But let us do a Sparrow Wallet demonstration here. So I'm going to import his seed that he created in Blue Wallet into my Sparrow Wallet, and we'll see the Bitcoin's going to appear on my end. So here I am on Sparrow. Let me just connect to a different server. So here in Sparrow, I'm going to create a new wallet. I'm going to call this Adopting Bitcoin Cape Town 26. And I'm going to create a new wallet. So Sparrow is very technical. It's got a whole bunch of information here. In this case, we're just setting up a basic software wallet. So I'll click this over here. I'm going to change this to a 12-word seed phrase. And then if you can just read me your seed phrase. Never do this, but read it to me, and I'm going to type it in. Sorry? Yeah, just read it out to me so everyone can hear it. Yeah, this is the worst. I'm about to steal it from you, so this is what you do if you want it stolen. But yeah, let's hear it. Love. Loud. You need to talk loud. Attract.
Thanks. The fourth one is RIB. RIB. Correct. The fifth one is Hanaway. The sixth one is Law. Seventh one is Check. The eighth one is Melody. Melody. Ninth word is Slide. 10th word is glove. Glove. Like, yeah. And 11th word is corn. Corn, yeah. And then broccoli.
Yeah. Oh, so he created a seed phrase. He's got a Bitcoin wallet set up on Blue. And I'm just demonstrating now that with his seed phrase, I can effectively steal his Bitcoin. I'm not really stealing it. I'm simply accessing the coins that exist within that wallet. So that's the whole seed phrase. By the way, if any of you were listening to him and typed that out as well, you'd be in the same boat as me. We're both going to try steal his coins. Whoever's first wins. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. So if I message you and I say, I am Blue Wallet, I need your seed phrase to do something, it's a scam. Never give your seed phrase to anyone online asking for it. They'll do a whole bunch of different tricks. So you might get an email from, let's say, Blue Wallet. They'll say, there's a firmware upgrade. We need to do this upgrade for you. Give us your seed to apply for the upgrade. It's always a scam. Never put your seed phrase anywhere online. Yeah.
My boomer aunt yesterday sent me a text that she... My boomer aunt sent me a text yesterday that she got. Dear trader, your Lunar account is not secure on the 2026 SSL server and BTC wallet will be deleted in 24 hours. Tap this link to update. Team Luno. Never tap. Yeah. Never tap.
It's always a scam, of course. That's a lovely example. Thank you for that. Okay, so I've typed out the seed phrase. I'm basically going to click on Create Wallet now and then import that wallet. There's a whole bunch of different settings here that I'm using. We're not going to worry about that. That's some advanced features. But Sparrow lets you go more in depth inside of your Bitcoin wallet. Blue Wallet and Sparrow use the same default settings. So if I click on Apply over here, I'm not going to set a password. Always set a password. Remember, everything we do today is just for demo. And we're going to give this a second, see what happens. So right now it's just loading. And then if I go to... connection failed. There we go. In transactions, I have the Bitcoin I've sent to him. So we've got 0.001 BTC over there, and we can see the date, 31st of Jan, 1:30 p.m. So that's the Bitcoin transaction I've just sent to him. If I click on my UTXOs, there we go. We have that Bitcoin. Now, if I were an attacker, for real, if I was actually trying to scam him, I would quickly send this Bitcoin out of this wallet. So I'd click on send, and I'd send it to a different wallet that he doesn't control the seed phrase for. Because me and him both can spend this Bitcoin right now. And if I'm an attacker, I'm going to get this out as quick as possible. Yeah, so that's a very important lesson to go through. The same seed phrase used in different software accesses the same Bitcoin. Let's go back to our presentation. By the way, you can keep that Bitcoin, just sweep it out of there as quick as you can. So, yeah. Any Bitcoin in Blue Wallet would appear in Sparrow Wallet because they have the same seed. Different wallets, same seed, same address, the same Bitcoin. So if you don't mind, just do me a favor, go into Blue Wallet again and click on Receive. And I'll predict what address will appear. So we already used this address at the top. So he should see this next address in blue. So I'll click on Receive. So I'll just predict that your address ends in 6PG8PT, if you can confirm. If you click on Receive. It's going to be that, so we don't have to actually have confirmation. But we have the same addresses in both of our wallets. 8PT it ends in. Okay. So this is what I really want to hammer down. Wallets simply use that seed phrase to access your Bitcoin, and therefore Bitcoin security is ultimately all about securing the seed phrase. If you're using a seed phrase wallet, like we've just demonstrated today, you need to keep that seed as secure as possible, and therefore Bitcoin security is all about seed security. And that's where we get hardware wallets. If your Bitcoin wallet is on a phone or on a computer, like we've just set up today, the seed phrase is on an internet-connected device. So his phone and my computer both connect to the internet, which can be vulnerable to hacking and attacking. And that's why we have hardware wallets. So many of you may have heard of Trezor or Coldcard, maybe Blockstream Jade. These are devices that are built to secure your seed phrase in an offline environment. That's a Trezor. This is the first hardware wallet that was created by Trezor. Joseph from Trezor is somewhere here, so go chat to him about Trezor if you want to. And this is the key problem. So the hot wallets, they store keys on internet-connected devices, and cold wallets fix this. Cold wallets refer to these hardware wallets where the seed phrase is stored offline. There's some examples. I just mentioned them all except for Seed Signer. Seed Signer is a hardware wallet. You can build the components, buy the components yourself from a computer store, and you can actually build your own hardware wallet. And the way these devices work is they take this entire process we just did, everything we just did, except it's entirely offline. Starting from seed generation, your hardware wallet randomly generates your seed without connecting to the internet. It stores that seed phrase on the device in a secure chip, typically on a secure chip, and then it signs transactions offline. So when you spend your Bitcoin using a hardware wallet, your transaction is approved and signed on the device itself, which is offline, rather than on your computer. And I've already spoken about this, but hot wallets are like Blue Wallet and Sparrow Wallet, where the seed exists on the device. Those are hot wallets. Cold wallets is when the seed phrase is offline, so Trezor, Coldcard, and other hardware wallets like that. Offline storage. Now, we're wrapping up soon, and I just want to emphasize that self-custody is a journey. There are many ways to secure your coins. There's many different techniques. You can use advanced features like passphrases, multi-sig, and so on. And generally, as you increase the security of your setup, so as you add more moving parts, maybe you're running multi-sig, you're also increasing the complexity of your Bitcoin setup. I think, in my opinion, your job is to balance security and complexity. You should have the most secure setup you can build that you can reliably and comfortably manage. So if you're using a setup and you don't actually know what's going on, I don't think that's the healthiest thing. You should be able to reliably spend from your setup fairly easily because you understand it that well. And at the bottom, I emphasize, never use a self-custody system you do not understand or can reliably manage. So if you're just getting started, you've got a small amount of Bitcoin, you can just use Blue Wallet like we set up today, use Sparrow Wallet. This is great for learning and getting into things, so you can download Blue Wallet, Green Wallet, or Sparrow, and get the ball rolling. This is not the most secure option. Once you've got a bit more Bitcoin going, you can look into getting hardware wallets to secure your coins. Like I spoke of earlier, they store your seed phrase offline. making everything far more secure. And then for advanced users, if you already have a hardware wallet and you have larger amounts of Bitcoin, and maybe you're a public figure, you're famous like Ricky over there, you might want to add a passphrase or use a multi-sig. Multi-sig is where you distribute different seed phrases across different locations. So if somebody comes to your home and tries to steal from your home, they can't access your Bitcoin because there's multiple seed phrases in different places. Here's an example. 3 seed phrases or 3 keys. Maybe you decide that any 2 are required to spend, so you could have 1 in Durban, 1 in Joburg, 1 in Cape Town, and an attacker needs to go to presumably Durban and Cape Town, or Durban and Joburg, or Joburg and Cape Town to steal your coins. It's a very, very difficult task. And yeah, that's everything. So if there's any questions, feel free to ask now. How much do we have? We've got some time, so yeah. Okay. It's live stream, so it will.
So, what can I say? I am, like you'd say, a novice. So, at this point, I've got the hard or the cold hardware cold wallet, and I don't have a hard wallet yet. So, well, I just got one now with Sparrow. So my thing is, do I take majority of it, move it to the cold wallet, and then as I buy, move it into the hot wallet, and spend as I'd like, and then whatever's left over, push it into the cold wallet? Would that be the best choice?
So for your long-term storage, always put it in the hardware wallet, because the hardware wallet's most secure. So any Bitcoin you're storing for the long term, the larger value or the larger amount of Bitcoin must stay in the cold wallet. And then if you want a small balance for spending, then you use something like Blue or Sparrow. So I wouldn't worry about going, doing from exchange to cold, to hot to cold, something like that. Long term is in cold, and short term in the spending wallet.
Where's Btfitness?
So just on that point, I think because Lightning has come so far in the past few years that like the case for a hot wallet is almost obsolete now. Because like Lightning wallets are so easy to spend from, and they're connected to tools like Moneybadger and Orange, where you can just spend very easily. The kind of trade-off for a hot wallet where your keys are exposed to the internet doesn't really make that much sense. So, and the other thing is that cold storage, the UX on them is so good now that it's actually really easy to spend out of your cold storage. So like I would make the case that like a Lightning wallet and cold storage is actually what you need, and a hot wallet's like really for like institutions who need to move money, Bitcoin on-chain around quite quickly. But otherwise, I think Lightning and like a Blink wallet and like a Jade or a Cold Card or whatever is probably all you need.
Sorry, my bad.
Thanks. I suppose actually it's sort of on those lines, but I guess I'm cheating a little bit. I've been onboarding people with a Moon wallet on the basis that Moon is fairly secure as a hot wallet, but it also gives you access to Lightning, although you can get caught out on the transaction fees on the Lightning side of things. I just wanted to get your view on using Moon. By the way, Moon is not a Lightning wallet. No, but it allows that ability. Yeah. I know what you mean, and I've been caught out before.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just want to add the details here that Moon is not really a Lightning wallet, as you mentioned earlier. It's doing submarine swaps, they are called. So it's live submarine swaps. So it's basically every transaction you do is an on-chain transaction sent to a Lightning wallet. So it's it's not opening channels, but it's kind of doing a swap every time you send it. So it's not really a Lightning transaction, it's a Lightning to on-chain to Lightning, kind of.
Okay, but to complicate it further, you can pay a Lightning invoice from Moon. So, yeah, I mean, I hear what both of you are saying, but I think the point you're getting to is that like Moon is a good halfway house because you can receive on-chain and send on-chain and you can spend in Lightning. But you can do the same on Blink as well. But the beauty of Moon is that it's no KYC with no limits. You know, so with Blink, there's no KYC for the lower level, but at like if you want to spend more, then there's KYC. So like finding all these tools. But the Moon, as you said earlier, like it can get expensive when you're trying to pay a Lightning invoice. Because of the submarine swaps that are happening, and because it's actually every time it is an on-chain transaction that's happening. So really confusing.
The probably, because that's what I set up with initially, and she was wondering why. That's what I set up my sister up with initially, and that's when I sent her some. When you sent the Bitcoin there, I sent the Bitcoin, and she's going, "Why haven't I got it yet?" Because she was expecting the Lightning movement. What would be your recommendation? If there another recommendation on a wallet that potentially gives you both options? Aqua. Right.
Bull, even better actually.
Bull Bitcoin. The new one that they've just, right. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, my question is on your advice on the simplest inheritance option. Yeah. So and also another one would be for the option of a passphrase. Is there a hot wallet that reliably does that other than Spiral wallet?
Yeah. So the first question was on inheritance. Is that right? Yeah. I don't know too much about inheritance. I wouldn't say I'm an expert, but as long as people can take custody of your keys, I think they can access your Bitcoin. I actually asked Craig Raw this question yesterday in the talk yesterday, and he also mentioned we don't really have great tools for the moment, but they're being built, and it's more of a trust game. You need to trust that somebody who knows where your seed is will take custody of it properly. I don't know if you have a better answer than me about.
So I've given this problem quite a lot of thought in the South African context because there exist online tools for inheritance. Like, for example, Nunchuck has got an inheritance tool. Casa has got an inheritance tool. The problem is they're all priced in dollars. And when you work that out in rands, or even worse, if you work it out in like Zimbabwean dollars or Zambian kwacha or whatever, it's exorbitant and it'll consume your entire stack in like 20, 30 years. So it's not really a real solution. So the answer I've come to is making a paper-based solution where you use a passphrase. This is kind of to your second point. I think everyone who's using single sig should be using a passphrase because it means you can give your seed words to some trusted third party, like a family member, and even if they go rogue, they can't steal your Bitcoin because they don't have your passphrase. And then another family member can have your passphrase, and you bring those two together, and they can recover your Bitcoin. So you can keep it really simple by having written down on one sheet of paper your seed words, and on another sheet of paper your passphrase, and an instruction to say, when I die, bring these two together. Something like that, right? It's obviously more complex than that with more nuance around it, but the mechanism of how it functions is basically those two things. Yeah, so if anyone wants to chat to me about that, I've actually written up a whole thing on it. But it's for the African context, it makes the most sense because once you set it up, there's no ongoing fees. There's no tech you have to rely on. There's no cloud. Because like if your boomer aunt, like mine who almost got scammed, if your boomer aunt, her husband passes away and she needs to access the Bitcoin, and they're like, oh, go to Casa and get it from Casa. But now Casa's gone bust, and they must now download an encrypted version of this file off Google Drive, whatever. My boomer aunt is not getting that Bitcoin, whereas like she knows how pen and paper works.
Yeah, and the second question was, do any hot wallets reliably allow? They do. You go into advanced features in Blue, and you can do that. Also Sparrow Wallet as well. And another note on passphrases is if you do give somebody a seed and they need a passphrase to access it, the passphrase should be sufficiently secure so that the person who holds the seed can't just try crack that passphrase. So your passphrase it can be anything that you type in. It shouldn't be the name of your dog. You know, something like that that they can guess. Yeah.
As a complete novice, now I've got moon, blue, aqua. I mean, how many fucking things do you have to have? And you still got to remember where everything is. Well, what's the point?
N+1.
What's the point?
Yeah, I guess you need. Yeah, for long-term storage, I would say you can set up a hardware wallet, so you have one long-term storage solution, and then like Ricky said, maybe you have one Lightning wallet. How many Lightning wallets do you have? You know, change it, pick one that you like most, and stick with that. Yeah. Okay. What?
Yeah, so Ricky, thank you. We've now got a Trezor
Model T.
wallet.
Smuggle that across the border.
Thank you. So we're going to set that up, and that's going to be where you're going to store your Bitcoin, and then you're going to have a Lightning wallet separately.
Yeah. So. No, yeah, the seed phrase. Remember how he read me his seed phrase? Yeah. So with that seed phrase, that's all is required to access your coins. And that's why I stole them from him, to demonstrate that the seed, doesn't matter what tool you're using, it is the Bitcoin, basically. Yeah.
So I think that's probably answered my question. So with the Trezor, I've now got, I'm just trying to think back because I haven't done this part for a while, but you've got a hidden and unhidden wallets when you set it up, and I've got a seed phrase. I mean, I've got the password to get in. So now I pass on, my wife then gets access to that. But with all these hidden and unhidden wallets, does it not matter with all these different addresses? Because how much detail do you have to put? So if she gets the seed phrases, will she be able to track all the different wallets? So if I've got hidden, unhidden 1, unhidden 2, and all the addresses, how does my heirs go and find this mess that or this history that's created there?
Yeah. So in Trezor, a passphrase wallet is referred to as a hidden wallet. So I would imagine you're typing an extra phrase to unlock the hidden wallet. Is that right? Yeah. So if you've got multiple, I would recommend maybe trying to simplify that first. Maybe consolidate them to one if you can, unless you're doing that for a reason. But the best way would be for them to understand how many passphrases you have. I'm not sure how the Trezor user interface works, but it might not say there's 3 hidden wallets here. It probably doesn't, because then it would defeat the purpose of the hidden wallet. So they would just need to understand how many hidden wallets or how many passphrases exist on top of your seed. And then they'd need to know that with the seed plus these secret phrases, there's X amount of wallets. Does that make sense?
There's your answer there. That's the solution. So setting up a paper-based Bitcoin will. So it's a paper-based Bitcoin will. Yeah, the paper-based Bitcoin will, because as much as we can say have one wallet, one Lightning wallet, one cold storage wallet, that's the longer you're in Bitcoin, the more wallets you get. That's just never how it goes. You always just accumulate more. So the will is divided into 2 parts. One half, which is the instructions of what needs to happen, is kept with all of your documents. So all of like when you pass away, there's a certain set of documents that are going to go to your family, right? The second half goes to what you call your executor, and that would be a trusted person in your family, like let's say a sibling of yours, or maybe one of your children. They keep the other half, and both of them are in a tamper-evident plastic bag, and there's clear instruction that when you pass away, these bags have to be opened and then follow the instructions. And then you can have as much complexity as you want. You can have 100 different wallets, set up differently, but there's clear instruction on what needs to happen. And then you just review that once every few years, like you would with your will normally, because your structure might change slightly. Maybe one of your kids is an asshole and you cut him out the will. You know, like you can do all these different things. And having that space for complexity is quite important, because the reality is that it is going to be complex, just like your estate.
Yeah, no, we have some of journeys actually, you know, and our wills department are actually looking at different type of solutions now in this space, you know. So it's interesting on these conferences, more and more the questions being asked, you know, what about if? And currently, there's just a huge gap in the market, simply not attended to properly.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's you and I chat about this, because I've figured this out, because otherwise it's an absolute nightmare, and the stats are going to get lost.
Another great way to learn about how to use Bitcoin, multi-sig, and all this stuff. I'm not sure how many of you heard about testnet. So testnet are free coins. It's like it works exactly the same, but you can play and lose coins, nothing happen. So instead, risking your fund, if you are learning, Sparrow wallet, Blue wallet, any wallet has the option to go switch network. Instead mainnet, you go to testnet. You can receive free coin, and you can learn by your family, your kids, your wife, your husband, and you can play there as much as you want. Just remember testnet.
All right, I think that wraps up the Cole Tuckett self-custody workshop. That was insane. Thank you so much, Cole. Can we give a round of applause for Cole? Thank you. Please make sure to check out his YouTube channel, Southern Bitcoiner, for a lot of tutorials and more content. Sorry to the live stream watchers there. We had a bit of a workshop at the back of the workshop, but hopefully you could hear what was going on. Okay, and then we're going to go straight into our next one. The next workshop is a person-to-person Vexel workshop where, you know, to buy Bitcoin, you're going to... Okay, maybe. Let's start it again. I'm going to give this over to Oaken. I think his voice will shut everyone up.
Good afternoon, everybody. And how are you guys doing? Firstly, before we start anything, how are you enjoying the conference? Are you enjoying the conference? Are there any problems? Do you want to tell me something? No, it seems like all of you are okay. No, I'm actually doing this workshop. I'm part of the workshop. Oh, I like that. I like that. So just quickly, if you guys wouldn't mind putting your hands together for Cole, just a round of applause for. I know he did great work. He's one of the best educators in the space. So it's always a treat to have Cole around. Cole, enjoy the rest of your day. So today we've got a little bit of a treat for you guys. When people ask, how do we buy Bitcoin? You know, you guys are just always talking about this Bitcoin thing. And then you tell me, don't use an exchange because, you know, the exchange is tied to your identity. So how do I go about buying Bitcoin? And oh wait, maybe we should first introduce ourselves. I'm Oaken. I'm one of the MCs of Adopting Bitcoin Cape Town, and this is.
Hey, I'm Joseph from Czech Republic. I'm part of the Vexel Foundation. Yeah, and we're gonna talk a little bit about what it is. Do you want to start or me? Yeah. All right. These are new slides. I haven't actually seen them that much, so we're gonna wing it a little bit. But I mean, when you're buying Bitcoin or getting a Bitcoin, you're not buying an island. I really love that. Grafton from Prague put it together. But the exchanges make it feel like you're buying a freaking island in the Caribbean because they are asking you for everything, basically, like your ID, proof of address, source of funds. Quite often, they need to do all kinds of AML, especially in Europe or the US. Even if it's like $5 worth of Bitcoin, you need to give out all of this information. And it's getting really crazy because, for example, in Czech Republic, like the KYC AML stuff, we have a very interesting app that's sort of like Money Badger, where you can spend Bitcoin at various restaurants and cafes and stuff. And until recently, we could do that like totally KYC free, like cash, because it's smaller amount, so obviously it shouldn't matter. But just recently, there was introduced like a new piece of regulation where even if you're buying like a coffee with Bitcoin, you need to fill the form. You need to give them your name, your birthday, and your address. This is crazy. This is the world we're living in. So Vexel is a way for Bitcoiners to connect. It's not a business. It's more of a social network, if you like. It's a social network for Bitcoiners to find each other and exchange cash for Bitcoin. That's the preferred way. Cash for Lightning, ideally, so that both is settled at once. Yeah, somebody from the foundation also sometimes calls it Tinder for Bitcoiners. I think that's a brilliant comparison. Yeah, exchanges aren't Bitcoin. If you buy a Bitcoin on an exchange, and especially if you leave it there, first, the problem is you're giving away all of your information, and that information will leak. It definitely 100% will leak at some point. It will leak to the authorities, to like tax offices and police offices and stuff, and it will leak to the private criminals as well. So both the public and private criminals will have that data, and you never know what they're gonna do about it. So that's the first problem with the KYC, with the all kinds of identification that you have, like that you're identified with the Bitcoin. The second problem is, of course, if you don't get that Bitcoin off the exchange, then you don't actually own any Bitcoin. You own like a promise of maybe sometimes getting a Bitcoin. And I believe it's going to get harder and harder to actually withdraw that Bitcoin from the exchange, especially in Europe and the US. We can see all kinds of obstacles being set up for people to take possession, to take self-custody. Yeah, I basically went through that, so maybe let's cover it a little briefly. So what you give up if you buy Bitcoin on an exchange is your identity, your privacy. It's very important to understand how Bitcoin works, that if you withdraw that Bitcoin from an exchange, the blockchain is transparent, so they can keep track of what you're doing with that Bitcoin. What's the address where it went? What you're doing with it later on. So there is no privacy if you buy Bitcoin like that on a KYC exchange. And your freedom, your sovereignty. Let's go. Yeah, what Vexel is. So Vexel is peer-to-peer Bitcoin, the way Satoshi intended. It's a social network, Tinder for Bitcoiners. It's not for you to connect with total random strangers on the internet. You connect with friends and friends of friends. So it's yeah, it's a social network, but it's sort of like a mesh web of trust kind of network. So, yeah.
Before Joseph goes into how Vexel works, how many of you here have a person for eggs? You don't go to the store, maybe you know somebody that has a farm, you buy eggs from that person. When you need your car serviced, do you take it into the workshop, or do you go to your friend or a family member that you know that is a mechanic and you take it there? So it's a thing of, when we say in Bitcoin, don't trust, verify, we're saying don't trust some random third institution. We're not saying don't trust your friends and family. Now, when you do things like this, when you want to trade outside of big institutions, you want to get your chickens, your eggs, your bread, your milk, whatever, you can do this as communities, small communities, right? And that's what we're saying with Vexel. Even when you're on Twitter, or when you're on, and this is why the people like to call it Tinder for Bitcoin, because when you go on Facebook Marketplace, and you put up a post, right, on Facebook Marketplace, all of your friends can see it, but other people can see it too. Now, if you were to bring that closer to home and say, hey, I have a Facebook intranet with my friends and family members, and when I post something there, only my friends and family members can see what I've posted. Do they know it's me? Well, Joseph will go on to how Vexel works and why they don't know it's you, even though. So all of us in this room could be the family. Jabu could post the thing. Now we know we trust the people within this room. It's not somebody from outside the room that we're trading with, it's somebody within this room. And in that is how we have that mesh network of trust. Okay, I'll let Joseph move from there.
Yeah. Yeah, let's get a little bit into what it actually is. So it is an app on your phone. It's called Vexel, VEXL. So you can download the app on your phone. It's fully open source. There is no escrow. There is no business. There are no fees. There is no visibility into what you do with the app because as much as possible is basically done on the device itself. It's like a local first kind of app. Everything is encrypted. So when you chat with the counterparty, it is encrypted and we don't see what's going on. Like the foundation doesn't see what's going on. And the way for you to work with it and to be certain that you're only dealing with, let's say, trusted people is through the contacts. That's basically the best kind of social network you can use anywhere in the world because everybody has a phone number, anywhere in the world. It's not the case that everybody has like a Twitter account or Nostr account or Facebook account, but everybody has a phone number. So you import your contact list or you can just select a couple people that you're importing. Then based on those contacts that you have imported, you see their offers, for example, selling Bitcoin at a Cape Town conference. And you are seeing also the second degree contacts. So you're seeing like your friends and friends of friends. And that's as far as it goes. When you see an offer that you like, you will open up a chat with that counterparty. And there's like a list of recommendations that you should and shouldn't do if you're chatting with someone, but you don't have to keep to it. You just chat in a encrypted chat with the counterparty and you set up, for example, we're gonna meet at a timeout market where they sell the wine and we're gonna do the exchange there. And you set up like the basic parameters like I'm selling 500 Rand in cash for Lightning. Could be like wire transfer for on-chain or something, but we don't really recommend like doing wire transfers because cash is private. Right. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, okay, so, damn, I'll just do it on this slide then. So most people ask, what do you mean? I have to upload my contact list and then you just telling me you don't see it. So just to emphasize what Joseph was saying, if I take my cell phone number, right, and I throw it into a SHA-256 algorithm, I get an output, right? And that output will always be the same if I throw in that same cell phone number. That is what Vexel is doing on your device. So when you literally say, I want to import my contacts, on your device, Vexel is encrypting every one of those numbers. So what Vexel actually sees on its server is a hash of that number. They never see the number itself. Here is where it becomes interesting. If Joseph has my number and he hashes it on his device and he uploads it to Vexel, Vexel sees that hash. Jabu also has my number. Jabu also uses Vexel. He encrypts it on his device and it gives him the hash. It's the exact same hash because it's the same number. Now Vexel sees that both Jabu and, well, they don't even know it's Jabu and Joseph, but they see two people have uploaded this specific same hash. It means that they must know the person. Let's display that offer to both of them. Because now it's a friend of friend. Even if they're not connected, because they both have my number, they can then, if we say friend of friend, then they can see each other's offers through me. So when we say it's encrypted, it truly means Vexel cannot see, they don't even know your cell phone number. They only see the hash. And the same thing happens with your chats. So if my number is 08133476163, which is my number, and I uploaded, Vexel sees ABCDEFG. Right? They don't see my number. But they see Jabu also uploaded ABCDEFG, and so did him. So there must be a connection there. And that is how you create that mesh. So
one more point. So yeah, as Oken says, like, and as we said, it works through like this mutual context through the phone numbers. And an interesting feature of that is there is no global view in the app. Nobody can see all that is happening because only like the mesh, individual mesh networks of people can see like the offers of their contacts and the contacts of those contacts, but there is no global view, which is very interesting. As Oken said, if you post something on the Facebook marketplace, everybody in the world can see it. If I post an offer on Vexel, only my contacts and the contacts of my contacts can see it, but some random guy where we have like 3 degrees of separation, they will not be able to see it. And we as the foundation don't see the global view that's happening, which is kind of important for building something like that, because we cannot see all that is happening like on the marketplace, on the network. Meaning we cannot moderate what is happening in the marketplace. We cannot stop it. Nobody can stop it. Nobody can moderate it. And yeah, it's sort of like a public good that doesn't have like a global view, and I think that's very important to point that out. Yeah, you wanted to go on?
So, how do you know who you're talking with? So I love this part about Vexel. So when you see a post on Vexel, right, we'll go through how you make an offer, but when you go and you look at an offer, it doesn't say Oken, it doesn't say Joseph, it doesn't say Job, it says Mashirimo. Now every time you put up a new post, it's a different name that they give you, so you don't even know who you're trading with. What it does tell you though, you have 59 contacts in common. Now that's a lot of contacts. I probably know this person if we have 59 contacts on our cell phones that are in common. So now, also another thing, it doesn't show on here. You can click on these 59 contacts and go, okay, click on another person and be like, have you ever done a deal with somebody that, yeah, you know who that is, it's okay. Go ahead and like see who it is. I've had a deal with a friend, didn't know it was him. I put up an order. I was like, meet me at the Wolf Shack. I'll be there at 6 p.m. We can do it in cash. He's like, okay, what are the terms? I was like, plus 3.5%. I want my money. He's like, okay. I'm sitting at the bar. I look to my right. My friend walks in. I'm like, Sadeo, what the hell, bro? Like, you could have just e-walleted me. I didn't have to get in my car, drive all the way to the bar. But he didn't know it was me. We've been friends since grade 4. He didn't know it was me, because it doesn't say my identity even to my contacts. You have to request to see, and you can request to say, let's reveal identities. So when you want to create an offer, what do? You open the app, you go to create an offer, and you say, I have Bitcoin. Do I want to sell it, or do I want to buy Bitcoin? Do I have a product that I want to sell or buy for Bitcoin, or is there something else? Now, I've seen, again, I have his number, so I've uploaded it to Vexel. So I've seen in Czech Republic, what are people busy selling on Vexel? I mean, there was a guy that sold an entire frozen octopus. A frozen octopus, right? There's a guy in Namibia that sold 50 physical CDs of his album, who has a CD player, but they bought all 50 CDs. You see, this is true proof of work to say, what is a marketplace where the trust is so minimized, yet it is still within a circle or a mesh that you can still be like, okay, there's a degree of separation. So when you create this, you literally say, I have Bitcoin, or I want Bitcoin, I'm going to put up this offer. Then you say, you know, your terms, what is the description, do you want to meet in person, online? And then after that, you also say, who do you want to see this offer? Just my friends, or also friends of friends? So you can granularly say, how far can my offer even be seen? I don't want friends of friends to see it, only the people that are truly connected with me, right? And then once you've now put up the offer, somebody comes through and says, hey, I like this. We can go for the coffee. I want to do this. You start the conversation. You say request, and you request to start speaking with the person. You say, okay, literally, hey, guys. Oh, yeah, this is mine. You see, first test offer from Oken. So literally you go in and you say, hi, I like your offer. Can we maybe negotiate? The 3.5% is a bit high. I'll do it at 2.5. Okay, cool. I can go down to 2.5. All right. I don't have a bank account. Can we meet in person? You know, okay, we meet in person. Now, here's the kicker. Once you say, like, let's say I say, I'm with Joseph, I didn't know it was him, and I said, I want to request to reveal identities. Joseph agrees. Now, that chat that we have remains. So if I want to sell again, I can just go into the chat I had with Joseph and be like, bro, do you want some of this? No? Okay, then I'm going to put it on for everybody else to see. I haven't left Vexel. I'm still within the app, right? I can now not have to go to WhatsApp to say, hey, do you want to buy, and or Facebook or wherever. No, within the app itself, we have the chat ability. And that's, again, before you've even revealed the identity. You can just speak to the person.
Yeah, and Oken is using the term reveal the identity, but it doesn't actually mean you need to like provide like your passport or anything. So, for example, what's a good tip maybe? If you're wearing hats, just put up a picture of the hat, and that's how they will like know that it's you. You know, when you meet at the cafe. But they don't need to know your name. They don't need to know anything about you. It's just two strangers that have some mutual contacts, so there's some mutual trust established through that are meeting and exchanging cash for Bitcoin. And after you're done, you can delete the chat, and then it's gone. It's not uploaded anywhere on any server. As I said, it's a local first application, and as much as possible is happening only on the phone and in between like the two users. An interesting feature of that is if you delete the app, all the data are gone. You don't have like an account with the app. So if you delete that app or you lose your phone, you lose like all the chats, but you basically don't need that. But like a neat characteristic of that is there is no like digital footprint basically that you're leaving behind like doing these exchanges. Right. Yeah, as Oken says, you can buy and sell Bitcoin. That's the main motivation behind Vexel, to do it in a private manner, cash for sats. But you can also sell goods, you can offer services, you can teach skills, trade locally. It's like actually like a Facebook marketplace. It's a marketplace that people can do all kinds of stuff on, and we cannot moderate it or stop it, and we don't see into what's actually happening. Yeah. And yeah, as I said, it's not a business. There is no fee. The only fee that you can like encounter is the counterparty's fee. For example, if there's like a low liquidity in some countries and you value your privacy, then the counterparty may ask for like 2% premium on selling the Bitcoin, but that goes just to him. And the foundation itself is built on like grants and donations. So Vexel got a grant from a Human Rights Foundation, from OpenSats, and yeah, from Bitcoiners worldwide, individual donations. So might be for some people like a sort of a stamp of approval that these organizations are also looking into like what Vexel is doing. As I said, it's fully open source, and yeah, we're getting like some recognition for that.
So when Joseph says it's fully open source, a lot of people are like, what does that even mean? Well, what it means is when I started using Vexel, I downloaded the app, I was like, this is great. Wait, doesn't have Namibian dollars in it. It only says Rand. So what did I do? I went on to GitHub, and I started pestering them. I was like, hey, man, I like your app. I refuse to use it if you do not add the Namibian dollar as a currency. Because I can't show my people, hey, guys, here's an app we should use, but you have to use it in ZAR. Why? We're in Namibia. Why can't we use Namibian dollars? That's what I'm going to be asked. And what must I say? No, I didn't want to talk to the people. I didn't trust them enough to like have a convo. So I started pestering them. And then after a while, Leia was like, who's even in Namibia that uses Vexel? We have no users. And I was like, no, I'm a user right here, and there's 2 more. And then they actually put in Namibian dollar. So when we say you can add a value to the product, it's literally as easy as going to GitHub and saying, I like the color green and you guys have too much orange. Could you maybe add some green in there? And they might say yes. You don't know, right? So that's what we mean by being open source in the way that you can also give value towards a product that you want to use. There was another thing I wanted to say before. Go back one, quickly. No, go forward. There wasn't, damn it. Okay, you say what you were going to say. I might remember.
Yeah. Maybe some of you might be familiar with tools like BTC Pay Server or Signal. So that's the same kind of model. Fully open source, it's a public good, it's not a business. Anybody can use it, meaning nobody can stop it. That's a very important feature. So yeah, if you use Signal, why do you trust Signal? Because it's open source and because nobody is like making money off you. You're not the product. And it's the same with Vexel.
So yeah, that's what I was going to say. So in South Africa, this is the second time I've done the Vexel workshop. I did it last year as well. And you'll be amazed to know that South Africans don't actually use Vexel. And my problem with this is when South Africans are doing peer-to-peer trades, what are they using? They're using Signal. They're using WhatsApp. Now what happens when you're on Signal and WhatsApp? For most people, they're putting up their phone number. Why do I know your phone number and know you want to sell 30 Bitcoin? That's a bit insane, right? Or 5 Bitcoin or 1 Bitcoin. So now, if I'm in a WhatsApp group with you, I can start stalking you. So your safety's gone from trying to do a peer-to-peer trade. What Vexel does is it takes all of that away. I don't even know your name. I don't know your identity. All I know is we have friends in common. That is as far as I know about you. So again, think about it in how do you trade Bitcoin, not only without exchanges, but how do you do it safely? Because as we know, as the world goes forward, those that are hungry will look to take from those that have. Those that don't have, well, if they cannot obtain it in another way, they're good. So you want to keep yourself safe. You want to make sure that or maybe you guys like SARS knowing what you're doing or whatever, I don't know. But peer-to-peer trading in my country is completely legal. You don't need a license to trade peer-to-peer. If you're an exchange, you need a license. If you're an institution that's selling Bitcoin to people, you need a license. But if you're selling peer-to-peer, completely legal, under the law, you can do so. So again, remember what does it say in the first line of the Bitcoin white paper? Bitcoin, peer-to-peer electronic cash system. It's what we are here for. So please, do take your sovereignty seriously, take your security seriously, and utilize tools that take them just as seriously as you should. And then I'll hand over to Joseph.
Yeah, so under this QR code, you can find the website and resources to download the app. It's a little bit easier on Android because you can download it straight from the, how do you call it, Google Play. It is a little bit complicated on iPhone because Apple doesn't like privacy, apparently. It used to be that you could download Vexel straight from the App Store, but then Apple banned that, and they said that recommending users to meet in person and do something with cash is promoting reckless behavior. Reckless behavior. That's how they call it. And that was like 2 years ago maybe, and we weren't able to get back because they're just stupid. So you need to go through a test flight, and you can get it on. I have iPhone, I use Vexel, but it's a little bit convoluted way to install it, but it's all described on the web. And there's other like educational resources going deeper into how it works. And yeah, so check it out. We can go through like the setup if you want later. But I also have like some highlights that I want to point out. Always I do these workshops for you to stress some points. And also it's getting recorded, so it's good to put it out. And I'm going to repeat basically what I already said, but this is very important. So Vexel isn't a business. It's a public good that anybody can use. There is no fee, there is no escrow, because if there was, there would be a need to do KYC. There is no global view. The Vexel developers do not see what is happening between the users. Everything is end-to-end encrypted, like the chats in between the users. And only users in direct contact can see each other's messages, but not the phone numbers. You don't have to reveal the phone number if you're chatting. So you don't see the phone number of the counterparty you're dealing with. So as I said, if you only put up like the picture of your head, they don't know anything about you, only who the mutual contacts are. And the phone numbers are not linked to any activity on the app. The interaction happens on the user's phone, the local first approach. There is no moderation or censorship. You can post anything you like on the app, and only your web of contacts will see it. We recommend to do the first meetings to exchange Bitcoin for cash to happen in a safe public space and do like small amounts first. Don't go crazy, just use your common sense. Cash is better and safer choice than wire transfer because cash is immediately settled and doesn't leave any digital footprint. If you do wire transfers and you receive like Lightning, you have the privacy on the Lightning side, on the receiving side, on Bitcoin, but you don't have actually the privacy on the fiat side because, of course, that is KYC'd, they keep track of everything, and they can recognize sort of like if anybody is like a peer-to-peer trader and they're receiving like some small amounts from various strangers all the time, it's pretty obvious like what they're doing. They're either like drug dealers or Vexel traders. So do cash. Cash for sets is much better.
So just while Joseph's getting, are we going to do the thingies just now? I mean, we're almost done. But you want to? Oh, we've got. You might not want to leave because we do have some stuff for you guys, so a little bit of goodies. But before we go there, there's a new feature to Vexel which I truly love. Right? I think this came out maybe a month ago. So we've already told you that you can have your web. Right? Let's call this whole room our web. Right? Let's say all of us are friends. We're all on Vexel, and we've all uploaded our phone numbers. Okay? So everybody's basically we can see each other's offers. Here's the kicker. This side of the room, right? All of you guys, you play volleyball. All of you. You're part of a volleyball team or volleyball fraternity, whatever. And your volleyball squad has what we call a what is it called in Vexel again now? A club, right? Yeah. So it's like a club, right? You got your volleyball club. Now, from the volleyball club, you can create a club on Vexel and say, guys, here's our club code, scan it, and you will be added to the club. They still won't know it's your name. So now, when you go and you see offers, you see everybody's offers from here, but these ones will just look like normal Vexel offers. These ones will look like Vexel offers, but the badge of the club will be at the bottom. So now you know, yes, it's somebody in this room, but it's only somebody on this half of the room that you're even closer to than the people from there because you guys play volley. So now when you're seeing the thing, you're like, oh, that's from a club that I'm on there. It's a club that all right, these are the people that I really want to trade with. The other ones are cool. They're all right. But they're not my close circle of friends. So now you can take it a step further in how you literally trade with people peer-to-peer, even more granularly by saying, hey, I actually only trade with these, but you guys can still see mine if you want to buy from me, but I don't actually, So just so you know, these are the type of developments that come from the open source community saying, hey guys, you know what feature I would like? And then it gets implemented because it's better for the entire community. So I just wanted to let you guys know that.
Yeah, that's basically it. If you have any questions, do ask. We have some merch here, including the most useless glasses you'll ever see. It will, but they're cool. They're cool. It's like the Vexel logo, basically, like these shaded glasses. But some people do like them for some reason. So you can grab some merch, check it out, ask questions.
Let me move this there for the questions. We'll start at the front.
This looks amazing, but is there any proof of wallet on the app, like that you actually have Bitcoin on you? Like, is there any?
So no. So the thing again that we're doing here is, if you were trading with me, you'd want a lot more trust, right? But you're trading with your own friends. You're trading with people that you already know. So if you know, none of my friends have Bitcoin, and somebody's like, hey, I want to sell 5 Bitcoin, you're going to be like, it's a bit dodge. So Vexel, again, to not have to go through the scrutiny of, when I say scrutiny, I mean like from governments, it's not a wallet. There is no way to hold Bitcoin on Vexel at all. It is merely a marketplace where you can discuss the trades. So it's a good question. It's a very good question. Yes, you had a...
So yeah, my question is, how long have you guys been operating, and which region are you seeing the most traffic, or continent or country? So.
Yeah, I'm definitely giving that to Joseph.
So I'm not too sure about the precise timeline, but it's like 3 years now that Vexel has been operating. It opened up first in Czech Republic. It's actually Vexel is. It's a foundation model, but it's under like Satoshi Labs, so like a sister project of Trezor. Sort of an overlap of some people that work for Trezor and Vexel. You may know Slush and Stick, the founders of Trezor. It's basically their baby, Vexel, because they remembered how they used to do it in 10 years ago or 15 years ago to exchange cash for Bitcoin with strangers. So they wanted to like basically bring it back, but remove the strangers part. So this is their baby. And yeah, so we have the strongest traction in Czech Republic. I think it's like 10 or 12,000 users in Czech. It's big, and you can see a lot of liquidity on the app in Czech. Usually you can buy or sell for spot because there's a lot of users, so it's not a problem. So it's even cheaper than like exchanges because there's zero fee usually in Czech. And we have some traction in Slovakia, of course, Germany, Italy, and I think like UK, Canada, and the African countries. We're trying to bootstrap it a little bit. There's definitely the initial problem of there is no like market maker. It's not an exchange. It's not a like company selling you the Bitcoin. So you need like some initial traction. And if there's like 2 users on Vexel, it doesn't make sense. You need like some threshold to pass, like 10, 15, 50 people that use the app, and that's basically up to you, the Bitcoiners in the communities, to explain it, try to use it, and yeah.
Easiest to do exactly what he said is to throw a workshop or a meetup, and there you have the people. And from it's coming back to you just now. I just have one person here, then both of you at the back will be there.
Okay, so I downloaded the app on iPhone. You've got to go through TestFlight. Who here is on an iPhone and has never used TestFlight? TestFlight is fun. It's for testing apps. So that's probably assuming that's Vexel's workaround to get into like Apple systems. But once you're in TestFlight, it works like any other app. And you just can send, if there's issues, you send screenshots to their devs or whatnot. So I'm in the app, and there's one person here who's offering something. I clicked, so in order to, I just clicked on their offer, and they said, yeah, to Bitcoin, they want 200 Rand and so on. I can send a message. So is it customary for me to respond to the message and say, hi, I'm interested? And then I click send request, enable notifications, allow.
Yeah, you want to know when people are messaging.
Allow, notification enabled, send. And that's basically it. And then they're going to get a notification saying, I'm keen, and then they get to decide.
And then you start having the conversation. Like you literally chat in the app.
Cool.
They'll respond to you, and then you will have a back and forth conversation.
And then we just go from there and meet up from there. Just do it there. You got that as well.
You see, you shouldn't have said who it was. Jabu had no clue who it was that was doing it. But he would have had to have your number. You see, so he up. Yeah. Okay, so wait, which one of you was first?
So hello? So sorry if you've actually mentioned this. Who sets the price of Bitcoin? Is that set by Vexel, or is it agreed upon between the two peers? Obviously, there's no spread because it's a not-for-profit, right? So how is that set? Is that like set in the app as a mark at a certain agreement, or does that change and fluctuate with the price?
Awesome question. So we didn't show you the slide. Well, it's not. We didn't have a picture of it there. But when you create your offer, right, you literally say how much. There's a slider that you can say between 1,000 Rand and 1,000,000 Rand, right, is what I want to buy of Bitcoin. And I'm willing to, then you say, do you want to do it with a markup or a discount? So sometimes I'll be like, man, I really need to put gas in my car. I'll sell 1,000 Rand worth of Bitcoin at -2%. I, as the person posting it, decide that. And then everybody else is like, oh, okay, I can negotiate with that, or I'll take that one, or whatever. So you, as the person posting, decides how much Bitcoin you want to put up. At the top of the screen, there is the rate. So you'll see, okay, well, how much is one Bitcoin right now in rands or in US dollar, however you've set it up within your app. But yes, the person that creates the offer decides all terms of the offer. And then the negotiation comes from the conversation. Yeah, exactly.
I think you've answered my question. So just before I answer that question, the test flight that we're using at the moment, I assume, as you were saying, it's normally just something that is being built on. But by the sounds of it, it's going to probably remain on test flight. Right. Okay. So the question I was going to ask though, if I've got contacts that are sort of all over the world, how do I know who's answering my response? Is it because I'm putting it in a currency, or what's the basis? Because I could end up in a situation where I go, you know, can I meet you down the road or whatever, and they're going, no, I'm in a different country. Like,
Also a really great question. So when you make your offer, you can actually put down, meet me in Windhoek, right? So it's got, you can see the actual location. So if you have a contact in England and you're in SA and somebody's like, hey, come pick up the Bitcoin, and you're like, bro, I'm at the waterfront. What are you talking about? Like, I'm not in the same place. And so you'll literally be able to see, again, like, I'll give you an example. Where's my phone? I wanted to read you guys this funny one. So I'm in Vexel right now. So I open it up. And like I said, I've got his number up, right? So Newtown, Prague, for 19 Czech krona, right? Is what it's called. Like your, yeah. So for 19 Czech krona, I need basketball lessons. That was what was put up as the post. I need basketball lessons. I'll be paying 19 Czech krona in cash in Newtown, Prague. Then, I mean, if you want to go to, wow, there's somebody selling a MacBook M1 Pro 14.2, 512 gigabyte, also Czech Republic. Hey, yeah, Waterfront, want to buy 10 BTC. Yeah, you guys must want to buy a lot of BTC. No, this says, 10 Rand. I only saw 10 BTC. I was like, wow, this is okay. But you see what I'm saying? Now, it's because I have his number that I saw his offer. And I've uploaded his number. So now, again, you can curate this and say, none of my friends in England do I want to upload. I don't want to see their offers. I can, if I take off Joseph's number, I see nothing from Czech Republic. Because he's my only connection to Czech Republic, right? So that's why I can see the offers. If his connections have put up offers to say friends of friends, if they've said only friends, I won't see their offers. Yeah, you can. That's not, that.
So when you're putting up the offer, there's like a couple of parameters that you can set, and one of them is like the approximate location. You can put in like just the city, doesn't have to be precise location, but for in order to make it easier for the counterparties to filter the offers, so that it doesn't happen, like you said, that you see offers from New York, for example. You can just filter it. Yes.
Is there no KYC free option that gives you an escrow that you know that could ensure that you have both sides? Yeah.
There are apps like that. Huddle is one of those that works on an escrow-based system. But again, your Huddle has to go through a whole lot more of KYC information and things like, well, no, Huddle works without KYC. But there is still a lot more to do, you know, like for the average person that just wants to buy 10 Rand worth of Bitcoin or 100 Rand worth of Bitcoin, to go through that entire process is a bit daunting for them. And this is a very easy, like as if you were going to go on Facebook Marketplace and say, hey, I want to sell this couch. It's literally what you're doing with Vexel. It's just that even your Facebook friends don't know it's you. Maybe if they see the picture of the couch, they'll be like, I know that couch. Any other questions? None? Oh, yes, sir?
Are Vexel open to people forking their code and putting different colors over it and playing? It's a beautiful thing.
That is the beauty of open source. It's on there so you can fork it from their GitHub. You can change things. You can add an escrow service if you would like to within your own jurisdiction.
Thank you for the presentation. Is this based on the friends circular, right? Is there a way also to kind of report or filter some or report something that was invalid, so it can be saved or tracked in their system for the future?
Okay, just so I get your question correctly. So you're asking, is there a way for a user to be able to communicate with Vexel? Report. Like I was going to say.
Okay, I'm not really that familiar with the feature, but so when you see the offers, you have a little flag at the offer, so you can like report the offer, and it just means that it's on your side. You won't see like that offer anymore. It's not global, but I think there is a feature like in the mutual like contact list, if multiple people report like some offer, that it stops showing to others.
So of course, as any system, people will look to abuse it. And also great with Vexel is like if all 5 of us are reporting the same hash, right? It means that something's actually wrong here. People keep reporting. Now, it's not that Vexel's gonna go in and try and like, unencrypt everything. No, they're just going to make that offer invisible, right? Now, again, if the person knows that the offer's not being seen, they could go get another number, right? They can get another cell phone number and then try. But again, after a while, 4 or 5 more people are, reporting you, that offer's not gonna be seen. So you're actually working against yourself. And because the people that have your number are your friends and family, at some point you're messing with your own credibility as an individual. So that's also something to take into account. So it does actually socially work for that.
Yeah, it's interesting. We don't actually see almost any spam on the app because it's hard to basically Sybil attack, and it's useless to do so. So because there's no global view, and if you do like stupid stuff, only your friends will basically see it. So why would you do it? So it's actually like it's very nicely thought out and has like some interesting features, including like spam prevention.
Any other questions? We're here for you guys. And I think we're almost done with our session. So if you guys, please do add each other. Well, please download the app. And if you guys feel comfortable with each other, maybe add one of the Bitcoiners here so that hey, there's somebody I know that I've met at a Bitcoin conference that's also from Cape Town that I can trade with because of the conversations we've had. I don't have anybody else to trade with. If not, as I said, please throw workshops, throw meetups, contact Vexel. They can send you merch. I mean, if you have a big enough, they'll send you some T-shirts maybe. They'll help you put up your pull-up banners. And you can start legitimizing how you create the clubs that you want to trade with.
And so when you're using the app, you don't really have to like type in the number if you're taking somebody's like contact. There's a way, if you go to like settings, there's a QR code icon, it's blurred at first. And you can tap on share, and it says, attention, sharing your QR code will also share your phone number. Do you want to continue? So that you actually know what you're doing because you're sharing your phone number with someone. But you don't have to type it out. You can just share the QR code like that. I don't know, how do we do it? We have like some merch, obviously not for everyone. First come, first serve. Yeah. Thank you, thank you.
So for those of you that are still working out, there's a feature on the phone. When you go to your settings and you click on Vexel Loves Nitro Phone, you get a 5% discount code to buy an Android Nitro phone, which is a secure Android phone that was created. So, I mean, I didn't even know that this was there. I'm like going through it now. They've got like so many new features, bro. Even if it's friends of friends, it means I'm connected to the person through Josephine, right? So I need to go to Joseph and be like, yo, your friends are out, you're scamming people. Now, that person now is no longer part of how Joseph adds it. So now, if Joseph literally unclicks the number, you don't see the offer.
But that's the thing.
It's the same recourse as if you were going to go buy a car and the person robs you, my brother.
So I want to
It's
ask,
in person.
what you're saying, like,
there's no recourse.
you know that this friend.
Yeah, you will then contact. Because remember, look, I'll show you, right? When I'm in here, right, and I see this offer, right? I go to this offer. It says I have 6 friends in common. I click there. Now, it's Joseph, it's Daniel, it's Tina's. So of these 6 people, one of them is the guy that just came in. So I will contact all of them and say, hey, you have a friend that looks like this. What, the guy took my money. Give me his details. Now I can contact this. So this is why this is also there. It's for your safety to say, okay, if I have 60 people in contact with me, I probably know this guy. It's not somebody. We have 60 friends in common from your
The thing, because I'm not talking about something like just like a product. I'm talking about a service.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's the same concept. If you don't get a delivery of a service from somebody that's connected to one of the 6 people, you don't get it. Your friend is friend. The same way you would with anything else. It's just a communication. In itself is not the technology of how you do it.
I can. Are you going to do you have the clicker? Try it out. Make sure it works.
Ah, bueno, ¿le has dado? No sé si le has dado. ¿Con el clicker o...?
Ya está, yo me encargo.
¿Sí?
This is how you actually go about it. You say, oh, okay, this is how I will find you. You know, 2 people. I only have 2 people. I'm on. It's Ricky and Tina's. They know it's probably something else. Yeah. I'm going to start this one. I'm also doing this workshop. But just right here. You got some questions. Are you good? You sure? All right.
This is how you access. It's all on Start Tunnel.
You don't want to. Okay, awesome.
No issues.
Awesome. All right, gentlemen, if you wouldn't mind, inside or outside, you guys can still have the conversation. Please don't stop the conversations. So we've got a treat for you guys. People have asked me quite a few times, like, Oken, what is this obsession with Bitcoin and Bitcoin and Bitcoin, and every day it's Bitcoin. In 2019, I was a broke artist. We were in Rolling Stone magazine, top 100 hip-hop songs of all time from BBC. But I was a broke artist, and I was broke because COVID happened, not because I didn't know how to make money. COVID happened, and everything shut down, right? We weren't able to go anywhere. We weren't able to do anything. And I started this Bitcoin thing, checking it out, going down the rabbit hole, as we say. I didn't know how to write any lines of code or use terminal before 2019. I didn't use it at all. And then Bitcoin is how I learned. And why I'm saying all of this is it led me to a way to earn Bitcoin. So I haven't bought Bitcoin since I fell down the rabbit hole at the beginning. I think I did it once. And then I got hired by a company that actually pays you in Bitcoin for the work that you do. That company's name is Start9 Labs. And at Start9 Labs, 3 years ago, I met a guy that I actually only met for the first time in person, but day before yesterday. But we've been working together for 3 years, right? We work for the same company, we do customer support, and Start9 Labs is about sovereign computing, how you would run your own servers. You know when they say the cloud is just somebody else's computer, they're not lying. It is literally somebody else's computer that you're accessing. Start9 is saying, run your own cloud. This is how you do it, and they've made it extremely easy. So I won't be the one doing the presentation. It will be Alvaro over here, or Crypto Squid, sorry. It's Crypto Squid that's doing the Start 9 presentation for you. And there are surprises that nobody outside of this room, besides Start 9 staff, have seen what he's going to show you. Everybody's been waiting 2 years to see this product that is coming out, well, hopefully in the next month or two for you guys to be able to test. Soon is what we always say. So please put your hands together for Crypto Squid, and I hope you enjoy it.
Thank you, Open. All right, guys. Well, let's start first. Very easy for those of you who don't know about the company. Start9 is a company that makes a operating system designed for servers. And this is for you to have your own data, your own Bitcoin node, anything you want to have. Instead of depending on a third party, you would have it on your own device at your home, or a family member, or whoever you want. If you travel around the world, you can actually access it remotely. That's the nice thing about this. It doesn't matter if you're there or not. I can actually access my own server from all the way here, and my server is all the way back in Spain, so there's no issue. I'll show you later, actually. So yes, why do you want to have your own server? Or your own node in this case? Because having your own Bitcoin node, we've heard about other speakers talk about this already. I mean, having your own node gives you the advantage of checking the ultimate truth. If you receive Bitcoin, if you send Bitcoin, if you don't use your own personal node, you're failing in terms of privacy, and they can actually trick you. You can actually be shown a transaction which is fake. If you don't check it yourself, that's why we always say in this world, don't trust, verify. Having your own node is one of those ways you verify. Then, for example, I've mentioned that you can keep your own data. We have a version of Nextcloud, which is a implementation which is designed to maybe keep you away from things like Google Drive. In the mainstream use of those tools, those are really big tech, and it actually filters everything you put on there. All your images, everything goes through their AI training algorithms, and this is how you get away from that. This is fully private and your own. Only you and people what you give access to can get in there. It's your own personal vault. You keep all your secrets in there. Keep it away from prying eyes. And then one of the most important things we actually provide users is a password manager called Vault Warden. This is based on Bitwarden, if you guys know about it. But instead of having to depend on Bitwarden itself as a company and trusting them, you take their technology, which is great, but you keep the only copy. So there's actually no way for someone else to access it, except for yourself, of course. And then why? Why would you do this? I mean, go through all these steps, things like that. I mean, we're actually living in a world which every single day is getting more and more dystopian. Big companies, governments, they all try to grab as much control as they can. It's slipping through their fingers. When you actually see all the technology we can provide with the open source space, where you can actually be free. Talk whatever you want to talk about, whatever you want to transact. There's no way for them to keep track of you if you do the things correctly. And here, for example, we have some of the services we have available. As you can see, it's pretty much everything within the space. There's Bitcoin-related nodes like Bitcoin Core. We also have knots as well, for those of you who care to choose one or the other. But yes, I mean, there's a whole range of applications. We call them services. Here you see, there's a whole host of them. I'm not really going to go step by step into each one of them, because if you guys have more questions after, let's not waste time on this. But yes, the whole range of applications, services are there. And then you actually have to keep in mind, we keep two marketplaces separate. There's our own, which was the ones I showed before, and then there's the community registry. These are other services which are done by outside developers and kept by them. Here you can see things like Bitcoin Nuts. as well as different other things. Like for example, you can have the dojo. Not many people have spoken about this at the conference, really. I don't know why, but for me, this is really important. The Samurai Dojo right there will give you access to using your own Ashigaru wallet on your phone, fully private and decentralized within your own infrastructure. So yeah, that's really, really important right there.
Is that still online? Is that not switched off with the other things?
No, because that's your own. Yeah. Ha. And of course, there's a whole range of other things. I mean, that's why we provide such a wide ecosystem. This is really not only a Bitcoin node. A lot of people think about Star9 as a Bitcoin node, but no, it's a full-on server. You can have your whole digital life on here. And here, just if you want to go to the website, see all the documentation, it's pretty self-explanatory. But yeah, I mean, we make the docs so you guys can follow step by step. It's all very easy. If you have any issues at all, I mean, we're there most of the day. We set up chats on Matrix, and we have a community forum. Yes, and the community forum as well, you can ask any questions you want. The Matrix chat is a paid chat right now. We had a Telegram channel, but it was full of scammers. It was crazy, so yeah. And this is my contact info if you guys need to ask me any personal questions about the system or anything like that. I'll provide this later on as well. And yeah, now I'm gonna do the setup, which is what you guys really are here for. If you guys want to follow along, if you have a laptop, I don't see any laptops here except for, yeah, but if you went to this website, it would open up the GitHub page where you can actually download the StartOS ISO, and from there you would flash it onto a device. Either a mini PC, an old laptop. The main thing, if you want to use it for Bitcoin and especially Lightning, you would need at least 16 gigs of RAM, because the lower RAM you have, it's going to give you a lot of issues. You're not going to be able to keep up to date, especially a lot of people used to use Raspberry Pis. And those are still good for the other services, such as a file server, things like that. But if you want to use it for Bitcoin, Raspberry Pi is out of the question, totally. You'll have a very bad time. All right. Well, this will take you to here where you would download, okay? And once you do that, you can actually flash it. So here I'm going to go with you step by step on how to flash things on a virtual machine. This is very, very easy. Okay, flashing. For very basic, you take the ISO, which is the operating system itself. You flash it, you burn it, or you copy it onto a USB drive. Okay, that's what we call flashing. And then once you do that, you transfer it onto the server, onto the laptop, whatever it is, and you do what I'm about to do here. All right, let's run it. And this here is actually the installation process. It's pretty simple. Anybody can do it. We have step-by-step instructions, but you don't really need them. If you've used a computer before, it's really easy. As I said, anything works, even old units, old PC, anything like that, as long as you have enough power and RAM. Yes, that's the main thing.
So you don't actually need to buy a Start9 server itself?
You do not, yes. I did not mention that we sell servers ourselves, but that's in order to like finance our operation and things like that. But you can actually install this on your own. This is a fully open source system, so yeah.
So I could just have an old laptop, put this on.
That's correct, yes. Yeah, I mean, the main thing for us is, yeah, anything would work. I mean, if you go too crazy old, it won't, but I mean, it doesn't need a lot of resources. It just depends on the services. because some services do require more than others. Bitcoin is the big one right there. Because if you use it, especially when you're doing the first block download, that uses a lot of resources, especially RAM. And if you don't have enough, it's gonna choke, and it's an issue. Yeah. Yes. If you have storage, for example, 1 terabyte would work for blockchain. If you want to have it for more things, such as keeping data, pictures, anything you want to keep on there, 2 terabytes would be fine. You're set for a long time. I have users who have 2, who have 4. I mean, really, the sky's the limit. If you want to go full on, SSD would be the better option, especially for Bitcoin and Lightning. That right there is important because the fast transfer speed is very, very important. Yeah, not an issue. Well, here you are at the main menu. This is pretty self-explanatory. You choose your own language. Also, we have now switched to different languages. You can actually, before it was only in English, now there's a whole range of languages, which here you can see there's a lot. That's pretty great right there. A lot of people have been asking for that a long time. And you choose your keyboard layout, and then you're done. Pretty much, you choose where you're installing, and then where you keep the data, and just press continue, and it keeps on going. There you go. I mean, you don't need to be an engineer to do this. I mean, it's pretty simple. Yes? RAID can be done, but it could be a bit of a teething issue. If you have to sit there and choose the right drive, because actually StartOS it lets you choose 2 drives at this point, but you can't use both for data. It uses one for the OS and the other one for the data. Yes, backups are separate. You can actually set it up to be on your network drive, or you can actually plug in a USB SSD. That's the best option. I always recommend backups at least on 3 SSDs. I mean, that's extreme, but you would keep 2 at your location and a third in a second place. That way if fire, flood, or who knows. I mean, you always have to think ahead in these kind of things. Okay, well here you would choose start fresh or restore from backup in case you ran into an issue, who knows. You enter a password. Please use a very secure password. If not, everything is encrypted with your password, so that's important right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, okay. As you can see, it doesn't let me do a bad password. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There you go. At the very least, 12 characters. But I would really encourage you to do more than that and keep it on a password manager. Yes. And as you can see, this is all fully automated. Because a lot of people think that, yeah, there you go. And we have a nice screen there. And now all you have to do is open it up. And that's pretty easy to do with a virtual machine. At this point, you would actually access it from another device. Your server is done. You would actually access it through your cell phone, another computer, anything you have at home, and let's see. In this case, you would actually use, let me just open it here, which is already set up. Version install, there you go. And you would run it here, where it's actually opening up. There you go. It's actually booting right now. It's pretty easy. I mean, there's actually no issues running this on many devices. It really works well. And there you go. Let's see if it loads rapidly. Yeah, there you are. At this point, you would access it on a browser. you would go to start.local and do the setup. At this point, you would do start fresh or recover, depending on if you're doing it from a backup or not. In this case, we start fresh. The device. Yeah, this is always fun for live demos. Just give me 2 seconds, because live demos are always fun, especially when you're running it on different devices. Yeah, there you go. Okay, we have to restore. No worries. You guys have any questions still? Nothing at all? It's all clear? Yes, you set it up at home and then you access from another device within your own network to set it up. Once it's done, you restart the server and you get access to it from, let's see. Yeah, live demos are always so fun. Yeah, I think it's going back to the install 1 second. No, that's fine. The issue is that when you run it on a VM, as I'm doing right now, which you have to unplug the USB, like the virtual USB. That's always fun. Yeah, there you go. English, US English. It's doing the same thing again. Damn it.
Question, sorry.
Yes.
I mean, for this way of, you're installing it now on the virtual machine for the live demo and that sort of thing, right? So
yeah.
if I've got a secondary machine, small little thing, it's got space on it, and I want to use that as my home server. I can now download on my normal laptop, put it into USB, the StartOS.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
And then I plug that into my other machine that I'm going to be dedicating, and then I can just boot from the drive, or must I first?
You wouldn't boot it from the drive. You would boot the device itself. You would remove the USB, and it's already installed on there. It's like when you install Windows or Linux or whatever you want to do. You flash it from the USB, and then you remove it, and just turn it on, and it works.
And then it'll run, and then I'll have StartOS
yes.
running on the machine from boot.
That's correct. It's fun how you test things right outside the room and it works, and then suddenly it does these things. It's fine, it's fine. There's always like these gremlins when you try to do live demos. It's fun, always. Da, 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 da. Damn it. Yeah, it's not easy. Especially with this VMware thing, it's kind of a pain. But I mean, what you're really going to see, which I'm not being able to show for some reason, is the setup screen, which is very simple. Just choose And then once that creates, it creates its own address on your network. And then all you have to do is access the main UI, which is here. Just gonna skip that step because it's not really working. And then you would access the server, which here it is. This right here is StartOS, all new 040, and the main UI. This here is all the services that are installed on the server. And you can actually first go to Marketplace. You would see this empty the first time you enter, but then you would go to the Marketplace, and you would see them here. Just choose whatever you want. You can install it. Just click on it, go to install. And this right here, people who haven't seen this before are not gonna grasp how hard this has been and all the work that's gone into it. But this, I'm accessing my own server back at home through my own domain, as you can see up there. Oh yeah, that right there up to this point has been impossible. For standard users using a device like this, it was a lot of work getting it to function correctly, because really, up to now, anytime you were away from home, you would have to access through Tor. And Tor works when it wants to. Let's just say it that way. It's very slow, it drops, it's not reliable. It's very private, but you can't depend on it for things like this.
And all of this is like an app store?
Yes.
And all of the apps are open source?
That's correct. Everything here is no charge, open source. As you can see, some of them, everything is on here. You can choose whatever you want. It's very, very feature rich, let's say, yes.
And so it's not just for Bitcoin knowledge.
Exactly. That's the main thing. Yeah, if you only want to use it for Bitcoin, no issue. Just choose Bitcoin Core, install it or not, and you can run it all the way. But if you want to do more with it and you have more disk space, let's say you want to keep your important pictures or anything. I mean, look at this. I mean, it's insane. Has a lot of different things. But here, for example, if I want to go to Nextcloud, Nextcloud is our substitute for Google Drive. And then you would open it up. Let me open it up here.
And so again, because OpenCloud is open source, it's a service you provide. It doesn't come with extra fees. If I've got 4 terabytes of space, I can use Nextcloud.
Exactly.
I don't have to pay you like I'm paying.
There's no payment. Yeah.
Because it's on your own server.
Exactly. Since you self-host your own data, you are in control of everything. But the main thing when you do this, you take responsibility. Because for example, if for some reason you have no backups, which you should have done the first thing, backups, every single day, backups, because you never know. Let's hope not, but there's always the possibility of something happening. There's news about volcanoes, earthquakes.
If your server goes down, whatever data is on there will be lost.
If you don't have a backup, yes. You take responsibility. When you take control of your digital life, you have to be responsible. You have to keep backups. You have to know how to run things. That's the only thing that you need to really be very cognizant of. It's important. Because right there,
So if you're getting the sovereignty and the freedom and the privacy,
yes.
then actually go there.
When you depend on a third party, you can go cry to them, say, oh my God, I lost my password, this and that. With this, you have to be a lot more responsible, let's say. But if you take easy steps, anybody can do it. And here you can see, this is my own Nextcloud. Well, on my test server, I don't have anything on there, but you can upload anything you want. And whatever size drive you have, you can fill it up through here. You can actually share links to anything. Like for example, if you have family photos, whatever, you just send the link to someone. If you set it up with what we call Start Tunnel, which is something I want to really mention, is how you can access without using Tor. This is all bouncing off of VPS, in my case in Germany, and then coming back here. And this is all hosted with my domain. Really, you can do it like this, or you can actually have an IP address and then a port number. There's both options. But this is a very easy way to share things, to have it accessible to the world. Not a lot of people might want to do this, but there's always options. That's the thing. Yes? It's, I believe that's going to be further down the line. Yeah, but there's I2P services already on the marketplace. Yeah. Yeah, just for access and stuff like that, that's still on the works, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah. For example, if I want to access this same thing, but on, let's say, the IP.port, that's just a different way to do it, really. For example, you can see here all the addresses that go to Nextcloud. It's nextcloud.cryptoscript, and then you can also go through an IP.port, which would be this one right here. And it takes you to the same place. Yeah. That's correct, yes. This is going to allow you to do a lot more than you could before.